Thanks for tuning in. I know we haven't posted for a while, and yes, it's not good to make excuses, but homeschooling took over. So, as you can imagine, a lot more hours needed on that side of things with the lockdowns in the UK. So, let's move forward. Today's video, we're going to talk about ransomware and how we ended up having to recover from ransomware. So we had a scenario where a customer of ours reported a virus. I thought, okay, virus, we'd take it off the network, the computer. Let's get a picture of what the incident is. And what happened was a message came up, a text message in Notepad saying, give us X number of Bitcoin, otherwise you're going to lose all your data. And what had happened is, when looking at the files, the data had been encrypted, which meant it was unreadable without knowing what the code was, and you would need an app to reverse engineer what had happened. So at that point I knew it was ransomware. Ransom meaning that somebody wants money for something they've done, and to give it back to you, they get paid. So we didn't want to do this, but we did want to go back to where we were previously. So the annoying part for the company that had this was the computer it had happened to was the server for their core business systems, where not only the computers would connect into, but tablets and mobiles would, from outside of the company. So lo and behold, we had to get the hard drive out, set up a new server, and rebuild everything that was on it previously. Fortunately, I had a list of what was running anyway, with one of our systems. And secondly, because the computer in question was running over the weekend, it had had 2 days to cause as much damage as possible, and it was Monday morning when we found out what had happened. So anything that was connected on the network to that computer was also destroyed. So that meant local backups damaged. So we had online backups which plug into Office 365. And fortunately, it was a case of go back to the date the data wasn't destroyed and click restore. So that's what I did. And by the end of this first day, the data in Office 365 was restored. Unfortunately, the data in this IT system that they used wasn't online based. So that data was locally. So we had a backup file, which I pushed into Office 365. So once we had the system restored, we could use that backup and bring it into the system. And lo and behold, a few records were lost, but those records were quotes that were sent as PDFs via email. So by the second day, not only did we have the core system set up and everyone linking back in, but we had the data back. And that was it. But one question to ask is, how could we have stopped this in the first place? Now, I would say it's impossible to cover every single angle, no matter how security conscious every person would be. It takes one mistake to click on something that looks innocent and causes something in the background. So, for example, you could have a game that when you open it, it's a game, but in the background could be running a virus, a Trojanware, ransomware, etc. And you wouldn't know about that. So you as an innocent person, yep, I'm just playing chess, just playing table tennis, just playing whatever game. It could be Candy Crush, I'll be honest with you. It's running on your computer, but you didn't know what was running in the background. So that's one thing. Secondly, you run that, it might be a new threat and the antivirus doesn't pick that up because it's a brand new threat. So 0-day attack. So you could blame the antivirus, but it has to detect new suspicious activity to then be able to block it. Then on top of that, you could get passwords that are problematic. So that was a weakness we found, which has been tightened up. So we've worked on that and getting that secured, as the computer was externally accessible. Then on top of that, you could look at, do you need to run this server / computer on 24/7? Now, when I went back to the company and said that exact question, they said, actually, I don't work on it after 6 o'clock. It's just convenient, you know, that I don't have to turn it on the next day. So the next change to the system was, let's schedule a shutdown at 6 o'clock or 6:15. That automatically shuts down every day of the week. And as nobody works that late in the day, that was fine. And then in the morning, the first person in turns that computer on. So that strengthens that point of view. The next one is, could you block remote access? Well, because it's a server and systems need to access it remotely, unfortunately not, but on the router itself, only a handful of ports were open that connected to that device. Likewise, could you lock down the router remote accessly? Yes, you could. But in most businesses, IT systems need that remote ability to log onto a router and be able to make a change, whether it's a reboot of the router remotely or for some other reason. So that section was left open, but the password was secure anyway, and it relied on multi-factor authentication, so that wasn't seen as a weakness. So what else could be locked down? Well, backups were kept both locally and online, so that was a good scenario. The local ones for quick restores, which we weren't able to do, but the online ones did the job that was needed. Passwords locked down, antivirus changed as a result because it didn't detect as well as another antivirus product could have done. And how the attack happened, well, given the software that was running on the computer, it could have happened via an email, a phishing attack. It could have happened via an instant messaging app, whether it's Facebook, WhatsApp, or another application. So it could have been a link from one of those, but it also could have been the weak password for one of the accounts on that computer. Now, if it was me, I'd probably say it was the latter, because I'd always go with the stronger the passwords, the better. And if something happens then for other reasons, then at least it's less likely user error in terms of, what they could have controlled. It's very easy to say, well, you shouldn't click on links, but people get links to quotes, invoices, etc. as the nature of their job. Now, because those links could be coming from various parties, it's hard to say every link is dangerous. Otherwise we would never click on the links. And likewise, in another topic we will discuss at a later date, it is also possible that somebody gets compromised and sends you a dodgy PDF or a dodgy link because it wasn't them, it was somebody else that accessed their account. So even though an email looks innocent, it may not always be innocent. But on this occasion, just to recap on where we got from, how did we recover from ransomware? Having an online backup system allowed us to recover our data. And secondly, having systems in place to know what license keys we had, what applications we had before the damage was done, secondly helped. Now, you can recover data that isn't encrypted on these hard drives, and we didn't use the same hard drive when we rebuilt the system. And with that in mind, you could recover odd files, whether it was on the desktop, the documents, the pictures, the videos, etc. But we are going on a basis as if the hard drive has died. The computer has blown up, it's caught on fire, it's unusable, unreadable. Where do you go, regardless if it's ransomware or not? And backups have been the major saviour in this incident. So one thing we would definitely highly recommend is a strong backup system, whether it's online, but we would also include a bit of online and offline. The offline for the quick restore, and the online for a safe vault, safe, or whatever you want to call it, safe area that is inaccessible from the internal systems, so that you can recover no matter what the disaster is. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions regarding this incident, ransomware, backups, or anything else that I haven't mentioned that we could have done, drop us a comment below. If you found this useful, give us a like and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you and have a great day.